what Daddy's favorite day is. I bet it was the day I was born.
I bet it was the day I was born.
I bet his favorite day is all 3 of your birthdays equally.
Let's ask him. Dad, come here!
What?
What's your favorite day of your whole life?
Favorite day of my whole life? Oh,
No.
let me tell you guys. You guys want to hear about my favorite day in history, right? All right. I'm sure you guys already know. You guys could probably already guess, right? I'm sure you guys guessed before I came out, and you were probably right. You guys, whatever you guessed, you know me well enough. You were probably right. So, it was 1 year, 10 months back. I was sitting at work watching E3 on my laptop, and they had just announced Final Fantasy VII Remake. Remember that? It was, you know, I expected that they would remake one of the best video games of all time. But what happened next was just so beautiful. When I saw those roses fall. And those roses fell. It was the best day of my entire life when they announced Shenmue 3. Oh my God, it's so beautiful. I never thought I'd be so lucky to have such a good day. So yeah, it was the best day of my entire life. What day did you think was the best day?
My birthday.
I mean, those days are alright, but compared to Shenmue 3, those days are for our second episode of our top 8 list. Today I come to you guys live from Shoko in Shenzhen. We're gonna go over the final 4. All right, guys, enjoy. Would you like to play a game of Lucky Hit, sir? Sir. Number 4. Okay, so number 4 on this list, we're gonna have to go with Itoy-san's masterpiece, EarthBound, for the Super Nintendo, otherwise known as Mother 3. Now, this one for many years, my friends have seen me play, because it's one of those games you could play over and over and over again. So let's go through a few of the highlights and why this one made my top 8 games of all time list. EarthBound, or as it's known in Japan, Mother 2. Wow, this game really strikes a chord with those who give it a chance. Really, if you know someone that's played EarthBound in their life, chances are it's in their top 5 of all time list. A game by a movie star in Japan, Shigesato Itoi. The game was all about convention breaking. From the modern day 90s setting, complete with current back then pop culture references, to the crazy controversial aborted fetus level. This game broke down tired tropes and made things fresh again. Too bad Nintendo botched the marketing by literally telling consumers that the game stunk. Number 3. For the number 3 on our list, we're going to go with Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time for the Nintendo 64. When this game came out, I think it kind of broke down a lot of walls for me. I mean, so sue me, I kind of didn't have a Super Nintendo when The Link to the Past came out, so I'd only played the NES versions on my cousin's Nintendo Entertainment Systems. When I got this game, I just got it because of the hype train, you know, the commercials that came out that people said were sexist and all that stuff. What else can I say about this masterwork that has not already been said? A cherished work of art, one of my most cherished childhood memories. Game knocked my socks off when I got it for Christmas way back in 1998. The sense of wonder and awe that I got exploring places like Hyrule Field and Death Mountain are special gaming moments that are rarely duplicated. All around amazing title. All right, guys, and for our number two favorite video game of all time, we're gonna have to go with Skies of Arcadia. This game is by far and away to me almost definitively what I would call a perfect video game. So let's delve into a little bit deeper as why this one got our number 2 spot. Number 2, Skies of Arcadia. Now, this game is in my number 2 position for a lot of reasons. Some of these reasons I cannot elaborate on because it would be some major spoilers, but I am making a video just about it in the pipeline where I'll go into more detail. I'll just say, this is one of those games you can play for 30 hours, you know, get that feeling that you've pretty much seen all the world has to offer, the graphics, the gameplay, and then suddenly a huge revelation of stuff you didn't think the game was capable of doing. Comes out of left field, hits you right in your head. Then, you know, a bit later in the game, it does it again, and again, and again. From the giant ship battles to fighting those Megazord Giga Kaiju things, flying around in a pirate ship, this game is my number 2 favorite video game of all time. Also, I would say I want a sequel, but this game has one of the best fully fleshed out, fully closed-cased, best orchestrated endings in any form of media and entertainment that I have ever borne witness to. Deserves the number 2 spot, and if you haven't played it, what are you waiting for? All right, real quick before we do our final reveal, I'm just gonna go over 2 honorable mentions. Really, these are my 9 and 10 spots. So, number 1 or number 9 would actually have been Zone of the Enders. Now, Zone of the Enders 1, I actually like a lot more. The whole story with a little kid finding the robot out there by the moons of Saturn or Jupiter or wherever that was. Oh, that game was amazing. You know, it almost moves so fast, your mind couldn't even keep up with how fast the robot moved. The game, the story, the music, everything about it was right up my alley. Huge science fiction fan, and that game just did it for me. My second honorable mention is Kingdom Hearts, the very first one in the series. There's just something about that game. I grew up during the Disney Renaissance, so being able to go through all of those movies that I grew up with in a video game, mix in a little bit of Final Fantasy as well, it was great. But the part that really spoke to me...
Kyrie, remember what you said before? I'm always with you too. I'll come back to you. I promise. I know you will. When you walk away, you don't hear me say, please, oh baby, don't go full and clean as the way that you're making me feel tonight. It's hard to let go. Hold me.
That song at the end, I think it's called Simple and Clean. That song, when you finally beat the game, it was amazing. And for our number 1 game on this countdown today, it's going to be a tie between Shenmue 1 and Shenmue 2, the very games that drove me to move to the People's Republic of China. So let's go over why these 2 games are so precious and dear to me. Shenmue 1 and 2, rather, were more than just video games. These games actually inspired me to travel the world. That's why I find myself in a Terminator, Marvel Comics, DC museum in China. I mean, this game, it was so far away from what I expected a video game to be, and I was already kind of fascinated with Japanese culture from a lot of the comics and manga and you know, video games that I grew up with. Shenmue, there was just something about it that sparked an uncontrollable wanderlust deep within my soul. And I've totally told people this before, that if it wasn't for Shenmue, I would not have found myself in the People's Republic of China. It just, you know, the game was left unsolved. After Shenmue 2, they headed into China with, looked like a plan to go into Guilin. And it never finished from there. And so I wanted to go in there and finish it myself, as it were. And here I am. all these years later, and now we're getting a Shenmue 3, which I donated tons of money to. Can't wait for that. We'll do in-depth videos on each of these games. Just wanted to give a little bit of overview of what makes them great. Of course, the memories. This game had what was called free reactive eyes entertainment, which basically it was an early kind of Grand Theft Auto sandbox idea, where you could go anywhere and you could do anything, from, you know, the silliest menial tasks of, you know, going through your sock drawer. You're under, I am Groot. I am Groot. What's up, Groot? What's up, pimpin'? The music in it, spectacular. When I'm getting tattooed, you know, if the pain's getting too much to handle, I'll find myself listening to the Shenmue soundtrack. It's just one of those ones that really soothes the soul. Now, this game is a game that literally changed my life. I know people say that referring, you know, maybe to a philosophical change, psychological one, but I mean actually physically changed my... See, when I was in my teen years, I was put in a school for bad kids where we were not treated well. I always dreamed of escaping that place, as I was locked up there for 2 years of my childhood, and I had broken no law. One of the first games that I played when I finally got out and onto foster care before returning to my parents was Shenmue. The setting and town in Japan, it was just so foreign to me. I was instantly drawn in and fascinated with the setting. I started longing to go and visit this land that I'd only been to in this video game. And, you know, when the second game dropped, I was back living with my parents. I convinced my dad to buy me the European version and the boot disc so I could continue the story, as it was not released in the United States. Again, in Hong Kong this time around, I was entranced by everything. It was so busy and beautiful, 100% different from the small American town that I grew up in. At the end of 2, you end up crossing over into mainland China on your way to Guilin. And then, well, nothing, because the game was canceled. There was no Shenmue 3. It was one of the most expensive video games made of all time, until Grand Theft Auto 4 came out, and it was one of the biggest flops. I picked up my 2 copy in a bargain bin for the Xbox later on. I will for sure be making in-detail videos of both of these games, shot on location in Hong Kong and Japan later on. But for now, I just have to say, the wanderlust these games inflicted upon me are the direct reason I am living in China today. I had no interest in coming here before these games took over my basement TV back in high school. But after that, all I could think of was doing this. And now, here I am in China, on the border of Hong Kong. I've been to Guilin and Yangshuo, you know, thinking that would be the closest I would ever get to Ryo Hazuki finishing this story is me doing it myself. Until a couple of years ago, an E3 Kickstarter campaign took my tax return and several thousand tears of joy from my tear ducts as I looked on in astonishment, crying in front of all the Chinese girls at my work. Alright, that's my top 8 video games of all time. Like I said, in the pipeline we got Skies of Arcadia coming soon. If you guys haven't checked out my previous videos, go ahead and give them a look. As that's it on another episode of I Remember Gaming. I will see you guys next time. Alright, thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We'll see you guys next time. Take it easy. Peace.